Let's get some analysis of the Romney win from Republican strategist and former speechwriter for the first President Bush, Tracy Davis. She joins us live. Morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Gordon. How are you?
Okay, it's not just the margin of victory here, but the breadth, right? And how well Mr. Romney did among all voters, it seems.
Yes, and I think it was just really sad to watch Gingrich self-destruct like he did after South Carolina. I don't think he listens to anybody in his campaign, because who would say to him, just become the whiny, complaining, angry, nasty, kind of over-the-top, like he was in New Hampshire talking about what happened to him in Iowa. Because the first thing it makes a voter think is, what are you going to do against Obama and his billion-dollar bomb that's going to come down on you? The strategy does not work. And the sad thing was last night during the second half of his speech, when he does know how to excite the conservative base.
Yeah.
When he talks about the first 3 days in office, I'm going to repeal this, I'm going to, you know what I mean? He lost his message in Florida, and he said that he was going to beat Obama on debates, and he didn't do well on those. And also, as you said, there was a new Mitt Romney out there, and he also, money and organization are important.
You make an interesting point about Mr. Gingrich maybe not listening to his advisors, because wasn't this part of the problem way back when he first launched, right? Didn't a bunch of staffers quit on him?
It's been his problem the whole way through. It's like, which Mitt are we going to get? And that makes the voter nervous. Even the fact that when he says if he's going to win in debates, first of all, there are only 3 against the president, but he's put himself in his own corner. Then he doesn't do well in them, and then he says he's not going to deal with the media have the media do a debate. And a president has to deal with the media. In fact, Obama is the only president I know that hasn't had a series of press conferences all the time. I knew a lot of presidents because I grew up in Washington, and they dreaded it, but they all dealt with the media. They'd all have their press conferences all the time.
Yeah.
And so he has to deal with the media. So that's another thing, that when he said that he wouldn't do a debate with the media, it just is that part of Gingrich. It's sort of his ego, thin-skinned, narcissistic part that comes out.
We're speaking with Tracy Davis. She's a Republican strategist and former speechwriter for the first President Bush, analyzing last night's results from Florida. Generally speaking now, Mr. Gingrich says he's optimistic about southern states like Georgia, his home state obviously, Tennessee, and Texas. Is it fair for him to be optimistic?
I just want to say, when he is on, he really is exciting, and that's the frustrating part, I think, for people. But I think it's a little unrealistic. It depends on money. He has a sort of a bleak February with just one debate and 7 states that he doesn't really have any organization in. 5 of them, I believe 5 of them, Romney has won previously and is very popular. So his next month is going to be tough. And he really seems to be relying on one source for money. But just the fact that he didn't get in Virginia, and I think it's Minnesota, he also, even though it doesn't count, isn't on the ballot. It goes back to what you said. Does he listen to people around him, or does he just jump off the boat sometimes into the sharks? Yeah.
One thing out of last night, too, the Journal is saying from the exit polling, 40% of Florida voters said they'd still like to see another candidate. And I thought a comment from one voter sort of summed it up with regards to Mitt Romney. This person said, "I don't love him, but I like him enough." Is that enough to get a guy elected president?
That's so interesting, because that's the mood. People I think Republicans, conservatives, even independents, there's a great deal of many people in America who just want to make sure Obama isn't president again. They see us going right down the tubes, the debt increasing every day with nothing being done about it, more and more money being borrowed, more money put in the government, higher regulation, higher taxes, and weak when it comes to some parts of foreign policy, but mainly the economy. And so people, but I do feel that Mitt was stronger, that his speech talking about bringing people together and saying these primaries, the other side might think, well, we're just, when he was talking about it just makes us stronger. He does feel more presidential, and he's getting more people behind him. Wouldn't you agree?
I think to a certain extent, you may be right, and the Florida win may be the unifier that Mr. Romney has been looking for. Thanks, Tracy. Tracy Davis, Republican strategist and former speechwriter for the first President Bush. 15 minutes after the hour. Coming up next, how Romney righted the ship after the South Carolina loss.